Hello everybody, my name is Kim and in this video we're going to be looking at how to use the envelope creator in Toon Harmony. The envelope is basically a type of deformer that you can create in Harmony. So the envelope creator creates an envelope for you instead of you having to create it from scratch point by using the rigging tool. So in order to start using the envelope creator, we have to first select a drawing layer. I'm going to be doing an envelope on the head of this character. So make sure you have that layer selected before you actually create the envelope. The next thing you're going to do is go to Animation, Envelope Creator, Create Envelope. This dialog box will pop up and it has a lot of options to help you create your envelope. The first thing you want to look at is the deformation points. So this over here is actually designating how many points you want that envelope to have when it is created. You also have this option down here, use all corners, which will make sure that every corner of that shape has a point on it. Discretizer spacing. What this does is it takes into account the details on the object that you're creating the envelope on. The higher the discretizer spacing, the fewer details that are going to be taken into account when creating the envelope. The lower the spacing, the more details that are going to be taken into account. Concave smoothing. This basically reduces any of the concave spaces on your shape. So if you had something like a finger and a thumb, and that space between the finger and the thumb is concave, if you increase the concave smoothing, those 2 points will smooth out that concave shape more and more. So if you want the concave shape to really be apparent, you want to take concave smoothing down to 0, and if you want it to smooth out that concave shape, you want to bring this value up. Smooth passes. This gives you softer corners and smoother angles. Expand. This is basically the difference between having your envelope create the center line on the actual center line of the artwork itself, or whether you want that line to expand out to the edge of the artwork. Bisect curves. This adds extra points on long sections of deformation. So if you have a particularly long section with no points in between, if you have higher bisect curves, it will add more points on that long section, and if you have less, it will add fewer points or no points at all. Now we're going to look at some of the options down here. The envelope mode. If you have the envelope mode selected, it means that the point of creation, in other words, the first point that you create on your envelope, will be treated as a separate point. In other words, if you move that point, it will move separately like any other point on the envelope. If you have this deselected, that point will then become an offset. In other words, if you move that point, the entire envelope will move instead of the point moving on its own. Shape nodes and node view. This will basically take all of the nodes in the deformer group in the node view and try to shape it like the object that has the envelope on it. If we had to create shape nodes in the node view for this head, you would have each node in that group shaped like the head shape. Use all corners we've gone over with the deformation points. Optimize handles will basically smooth any wide angle corners that you have. So corners that are close to 180 degrees, the optimize handles will create a smooth shape there instead of a more angled corner. Create single center line. So if you create a single center line, it will create one line throughout the shape instead of an envelope deformer that surrounds the shape. And when you're done setting up your options, all you have to do is say create envelope. And there we have it. We have now an envelope for our head. One more thing to take note of, and this can work on any deformer, bone, curve, and envelope, and it works in all 3 versions of the software, is you can use Shift and click to select more than one point at a time and move those points together. This only works in the animation mode and not in the rigging mode of the deformation. Another way you can select multiple points on a deformer is to use the control selection mode under the tool properties for your transform tool. If you turn this on, you'll be able to draw a lasso around multiple points on your deformer and then move those points. And that's how you use the envelope creator in Toon Harmony.